What's up, guys? I just wanted to hop on here today and talk about um, the Timberwolves' future without Cat. The trade is now official, trading Cat for Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a Detroit lottery-protected first-round pick. So my overall thoughts on the starting lineup and the bench is I believe that our bench got a lot deeper and a lot better overall. I don't feel that with adding Julius Randle, we're really getting any extra push. I think that Cat's an overall better player than Julius Randle, but you got to remember Julius Randle is a two-time All NBA player. Like he's not. I don't think he's washed. I think he can be. Um, I don't want to call him injury prone because before this year he really wasn't. He played 46 games this last year. Before he had a shoulder injury. So this is how I have the lineup right now. Obviously, this can change throughout the year. Right now, I have Mike Conley at the one, Anthony Edwards at the two, Jaden McDaniels at the three, Julius at the four, and Rudy Gobert at the center. And then I could see some nights where possibly Nas or Dante either sub in for um, Julius Randle or Mike Conley. I could definitely see Mike Conley um, getting a lot less minutes this year, maybe like around 30 to 32, with either Dante or Nikhil stepping in for the starting lineup in some games. So I know this doesn't work out perfectly, um, but if we were just looking at it as the points that we are losing this year versus the points that we're gaining, Cat's points per game last year were down compared to other years, just because I think he was taking a lesser role so that Ant could step up and take more shots. He averaged 21.8 points per game. Julius Randle averaged 24 before he was injured, and Dante DiVincenzo was at 15 and a half, which I think that if Dante would have got more playing time last year, he could have been up near 18 because in the playoffs he was going off. So some of my more initial concerns, and these could change throughout the year. This is just kind of what came to mind immediately, right after I heard about the trade. His floor spacing, last year even with Cat, it was like there was some times where Ant just wasn't able to go to the rim because there's two 7-footers right in the middle. And I think it helped at points when because Cat is such a good 3-point shooter. I think one of the like you can argue one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, even though he's a big. And I think that adding Julius Randle, it it's not going to necessarily help the floor spacing that we have, but I think that Randle will be a better off ball scorer than Karl Anthony Towns was. So another one of my concerns was adding Julius Randle is adding another ball handler, which I want Ant to be kind of the main ball handler. I would like to see his playmaking improve this year. I think last year he was up around 5 assists a game. I'd like to see like 6 to 7. I know it's a lot, but I think it's going to open up his offense a ton if he can start playmaking more. And I think by adding Julius Randle, that might dip. So I don't really like that. And then, so this not enough 3-point shooting, I think relies so heavily on Jaden McDaniels taking a jump in his 3-point shooting. We saw in the playoffs, he averaged right around 38%, which is huge. If he can do that in the regular season, we're going to win a lot of games. We're going to be able to space the floor because defenders are going to have to close out on Jaden McDaniels, right? And I don't see that happening. I don't see us shooting a lot of threes if Jaden McDaniels can't hit those corners. So I'm going to fly through this one. There's a lot of different stuff. This is just from the initial press conference, um, from when Chris Finch could first speak on the trade. Obviously, Finch talked about how great Cat was, how coachable he was, just the skill set that he had. I mean, I think you can easily say that Karl is right now the second best Timberwolf in history. Ant's obviously, going to take that, but for sure second best. And then, he was talking about the timing of the trade. I mean, training camp literally just started, and we're just getting guys in now when guys have been in the building all summer. I don't, it doesn't help that they weren't here all summer, but I also don't think that it um, affects anything. I don't think we got worse because they weren't here all summer. But obviously that means that I don't think that we got better. The new players brought in Dante and Julius. Obviously they enhance our bench for sure with Dante. I think that guy, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's 6-man over Nas Reed. Now it hurts me to say because I love Nas Reed, but Dante was looking unbelievable last year for the Knicks in the playoffs. And then he went into talking about adapting their system to fit, the new players, and also the new players having to adapt to fit the system. Um, and then he emphasized having to take a lot more 3-point shots this year because we led the league in 3-point percentage, but that usually means that we were not taking enough threes. You don't really want to lead the league in 3-point shooting percentage just because that means you're not shooting a lot of threes. And then, yep, lastly, just overall team depth. We got a lot better. Our bench is, I think, the deepest in the league. I don't know how you can argue with that. If you have another team, put them in the comments and I'll look at it. This is from Dane Moore's Twitter. Got the accentuated I loved coaching Julius in New Orleans from Chris Finch today. The grab and go rebounds that turned into semi transition, the ability to drive and pass out to shooters, and the force Randall plays with are all things Finch has talked about wanting to add for his team for a while. Chris Finch says the plan is to have Julius Randle start at the 4. Neither of these things really surprise me. This is kind of what I was expecting from the go. Um, I was hearing some talk that maybe Naz Reid was going to get um more starting minutes than Randall. I don't see that happening. The way that I see it is Naz Reid getting around 28 minutes a game with Julius Randle around 32, maybe 34. So my overall thoughts. I wasn't a huge Cat fan. Um, I thought that he just played soft. He made a ton of mistakes, turned the ball over, quite a lot. He led the league 4 years straight in offensive fouls, which I think is just utterly ridiculous. But I also think, yeah, I've watched a ton of Julius Randle highlights. The guy can turn the ball over a lot. He has some of the similar mistakes that he can just kind of get sloppy, just like Cat. Um, so I think that we didn't necessarily get any better, but we didn't get worse. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.